Hello and welcome to Canguro English. I'm Christian and this is another live English class. I'm wearing a scarf and a big jacket because it's a little bit cold here today. Last night it was -5. Okay. You have two ways to say the temperature in English, okay? Well, this is very good. You can say -5 or 5 below. -5 or 5 below. And so in the morning, we have no water in the house because the pipes, the tubes with the water are frozen. We have no water. But it's okay. This is Europe. Europe in winter. It's normal. I hope that you are all well. Today is Tuesday. So yesterday was Monday, the most difficult day of the week. But yeah, I hope that you are all well. So I'm here to answer any questions you have about grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, anything you like. Okay, so let's have a look at some questions here. Okay. So Ishak has the first question is, what is the difference between ellipsis and deduction? Okay. So ellipsis, ellipsis is a grammatical thing in English. Ellipsis is when we eliminate unnecessary words. Eliminate. This is ellipsis, okay? But deduction is different, okay? Deduction is not a grammatical part of English. Deduction is when we look at information and then we reach a conclusion. For example, imagine that I go to your house, okay, and I go into your kitchen, and the kitchen is very, very messy. There is food on the table, there's food on the floor, there is lots of pots and pans everywhere, okay? So I look at all of the information. I say, okay, number one, we have lots of dirt, right? Lots of dirt, lots of mess. Number two, pots and there's lots of pots and pans everywhere. And maybe the third thing is the smell of food. The smell of food. So I look at this information, dirt and mess, pots and pans, smell, and my conclusion, my deduction is that you were cooking. Dirt and mess plus pots and pans plus smells equals cooking. This is deduction. And of course, the most famous person in the world for making deductions was Sherlock Holmes. You know the famous English detective Sherlock Holmes? Yeah, he made a lot of deductions. Okay. in the chat today, we have somebody called Google User. Now, Google User, I don't know who you are, okay, or your name, but you're from the Ukraine. And I want to thank you personally for the previous work you did, where you put the time codes with the different parts of the class. That was really fantastic. Thank you very much, Google User. Okay, so let's have a look at some more questions about English. Okay. So a question from Biazzo or Biazzo. What is the correct pronunciation of 3 words? Okay, let's have a look. Two, and two. In reality, the pronunciation of these 3 words is exactly the same. There is absolutely no difference, okay? Now, depending on the position in the sentence, maybe this one will be a little bit shorter, two, but in reality, there is absolutely no difference between two, and two. So, how do we know if you're saying two or two? Context. That's how we know. That's how we know which word you're using. Because if I say, for example, I have 2 cats. I'll go this side. I have 2 cats. Is it 2 or 2? Well, there's only one possibility, no, because 2 always has to go at the end. So you could say, I have cats 2, but not I have 2 cats. Eliminate. And 2 is a preposition we use before a verb or before a place. So I have 2 cats. To cat is not a verb, and a cat is not a place, so no. So the only possibility is I have 2 cats, okay? And the pronunciation is not important. We know from the context, the position of the word, I know what you mean, okay? So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, okay. James has a question about the pronunciation of the letter N. So let's have a look at his examples, okay? Canteen, sun. So these are the 4 words that James gave me, okay? Canteen, sun, and one. So what is the pronunciation, okay? The pronunciation, let's talk about the physical aspect of the N, okay? He wants to know about the N. Now, in all of these words, okay, the N is the same, okay, the same. So let's think about mouth position, okay? So, okay, so you'll see that my tongue, okay, my tongue is here, touching. And listen, I have my voice activated. Okay, and my mouth, look at my mouth position. It's a little bit open, okay? Relaxed, but a little bit open. Okay, and my jaw is relaxed, okay? Relax my lips. My lips are relaxed, okay? mm, mm. So it's a very neutral position. It's not like e or or e. Okay, it's relaxed. But the important thing is tongue touching. Mm. Can you see at the back? Activate the voice. So can, teen, sun, and one. Okay, so now you can try this, okay? So we want the tongue, here's the teeth, okay, these are my teeth, and here's my tongue touching, okay? And activating the voice. Can, teen, sun, one. Hopefully that helps to answer your question, okay? Now, what is the difference between this and the NG? Ooh, okay. For example, if we say, or for example, or okay, so you can see that here we have an NG together, an NG. So what is the difference between an N and an NG? Okay, so the first thing is tongue position. Tongue position. Okay, with can, here's the teeth. My tongue is here. Okay, at the top, at the back. But with this, the tongue is back. Okay, and there's no contact. So this is okay, but so the tongue is back, okay, back of the mouth and no contact, okay, it's in the air. So let's look at the difference between the tongue here and here, here and here. Can hang, can hang, can hang. Okay? We're doing the difference. And also, watch my mouth between the two sounds. My mouth opens. Watch. Can hang. Look, my mouth is more open. Now, this is called a nasal sound. This is nasal. Why? Because my tongue is back, okay, in the air, but it's blocking. It's blocking the air. The air cannot pass out of my mouth. Okay? There's no air. The sound comes through your nose, okay? It's nasal. And that's why it's a little bit of a horrible sound, okay? So here, can, okay? I have some sound in my mouth, can, okay? Activating the voice. But here, okay, my tongue blocks the air, okay? And so the sound comes out of my nose. Okay? But if you think about the physical position, okay, concentrate on the physical position. Tongue position, mouth position, activating the voice, and the sound will be perfect. Okay? So now you try and tell me if you want me to explain more about this, okay? Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, okay, because I like to tell little stories, is this word here. One. It's a very interesting word, right? So maybe you think that the pronunciation of this word is a little bit strange, a little bit stupid, because why do we have the sound? The one, why? And how is this related to another word, which is this? An onion. So let's listen to the pronunciation of these two words. One, one, onion. So this sound here is similar, not similar, the same to the sound here. One, onion. So what is the relation between the word one and the word onion? Well, let's think about what is an onion, okay? An onion is a food that we eat. But there are other foods in the same family that are related. For example, we have an onion and we have a garlic. Do you know what a garlic is? Garlic is delicious. Very, very delicious and important to life. Okay? Now, onion and garlic are the same family of food, the same species. But what's the difference? The garlic, when you open the garlic, has lots of different pieces. Maybe 8 or 9 or 10 little pieces. Okay? But an onion, no. An onion is only one thing. It's one. Onion, one. And that's how you can remember the pronunciation of this word. It's not onion or anything else, it's onion. Okay, the history lesson is finished. Do you like onion and garlic? Tell me, because I think it would be very difficult for me to eat without onion and garlic. Onion and garlic is the basis of all good food. Okay, so Google user was asking a question about the difference between when we use a gerund and when we use an infinitive. And I think it's an interesting question in English. So let's talk about this a little bit, okay? So in English we have 3 categories of verbs, okay? 3. So we have the verbs with to, okay? So, and then we have the verbs with ing, okay? And then we have verbs with no to or no ing. In English we call them bare verbs. Bare means like naked, no clothes. These verbs have no clothes, okay? They're naked. No to, no ing, okay? Only the verb. So for example, I want to go. If you have the verb want and then you have another verb, it will always be with to. Want to go, okay? Want, always with to, always. But then we have verbs with ing, like, for example, enjoy. I I enjoy going. Okay, so we can see that the verb enjoy will always be with ing. Okay, you cannot say I enjoy to go, and you cannot say I want going. Okay. The third category is the modal verbs. Okay, the modal verbs like could. You can see that when we use a modal verb like could or will or should, that we have no to and no ing, only the naked verb with no clothes. Okay, but what is the difference really between a verb with to and a verb with ing? Like, why do we have this strange categories of verbs? Why does it exist? Okay, let me explain. Okay. We have something which is a little bit strange in English, which is if you have a verb and you put ing on the end, now it's not a verb. It's a verbal. Basically, it is a noun. We are taking a verb and transforming it into a noun. Now, the difference, well, what is the difference between a verb and a noun? Well, a verb describes an action, a process, something that you do, okay? Like, for example, I like to fish. Okay? So you are talking about the action of fishing. Okay? You enjoy, you like going and the action, the process of catching the fish. But you could also say, I like fishing. But it's a little bit different psychologically and grammatically. It's different because fishing now is not a verb, okay? It's not describing a process or an action. It is the name of something you do. Because remember, a noun is basically a name for something. So it's a little bit different. And if you think about the verbs with the gerund, like for example, enjoy, or stop, okay, or start. Now, when we use the verbs with gerund, normally they are talking about an activity, okay, the name of something, and not a process or an action. Hopefully that has answered your question, and hopefully that explains something about the difference between a verb with to and a gerund with ing, okay? Tell me if you would like me to talk a little bit more about this, okay? Lionel, hello Lionel, he has asked what is the difference between someone and somebody? Oh, okay. Someone and somebody. There is absolutely no difference. They are perfect synonyms, okay? And remember that in English, these are singular, okay? So, someone or somebody are? No, okay? It is. They are singular because if we look at the word, we can see that it is talking about a singular thing. One, like the onion, one. And here, a body, okay? It's not plural, it's not collective, it's not a group of people, it's singular, okay? Okay, let's have a look for some more questions. Wow, Ratanu from Thailand is telling me that it is 22 degrees in Thailand. I am very jealous. Wow, very jealous. Okay, Marcos Pino has also asked a very interesting question about what does ain't mean? Maybe you have seen this word before, ain't. It is very, very common in English, in informal English, in conversation, in emails, everything. But it's very strange. Ain't, what does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? It basically means is not or are not. Okay, so you could say, for example, he ain't coming. He is not coming. Okay, so this is what it means. But also, there is something very interesting about this word ain't. And it's also something very interesting about breaking one of the important rules of English. Okay, so let's let me show you. Let me show you. Okay. Okay, so you can see that we can use it for the verb I ain't coming, okay, which is I am not, okay, and you can also use it here, okay, to make a question, okay. Am I not coming? Am I not? Very interesting is that there is no contraction for am I not. But there is a contraction for everything else in English with the verb to be. For example, look at this. Aren't you coming? Perfect. This contraction exists. And here, isn't he coming? Perfect. This contraction, isn't he coming, exists. But this one, amn't? Am not I? Am not I coming? It doesn't exist in English. It doesn't exist. This exists, but amn't I or am not I? It doesn't exist. So English people had to invent a substitute, and the substitute is the famous ain't. Ain't I coming? Now, this is, as I said, this is for conversation and for informal English, but a lot of native English speakers would say ain't, especially in North American English, okay? Ain't I? But am't I or am I not? It doesn't exist. If you say this, it doesn't exist. If you say am not I, it sounds like you are William Shakespeare, okay? It doesn't sound natural, it doesn't sound correct, okay? But you can start to use ain't in conversations, okay, to sound maybe a bit more natural. So don't be afraid to experiment with this contraction, okay? Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully. Okay. Oof. Okay, oh my God. Konstantin said today, because I think, Konstantin, I think you live in Russia, but I'm not sure. He said that today it was minus 29. 29 degrees below zero. Oh my God. I have never in my life experienced that temperature. Can you go outside? Can you walk in the street? Can you drive your car? What happens when it's minus 29? Tell me. I'm very curious. Okay. So a question here from Lewis about reflexive. Excuse me. I'm dying. A question about reflexive pronouns. Okay, very nice, very nice. So, what is a reflexive pronoun? Well, let's look at the word reflects. And let's think about it means to reflect, right? It means that I am looking at me, a reflection. Or maybe another person is looking at a reflection, okay? So it's like a circle, okay? So the best way to understand reflexive pronouns is to think about this as a mirror. You know what a mirror is, yes? A mirror, okay? So, this is me. There's, I have more hair, but this is me, okay? So, when I look here, okay? When I look here, okay? I look at myself. I look at myself. Because, you see, I'm reflecting, okay? Okay, and this is you. Wow, you are very beautiful. Wow. So you are looking at yourself. Okay? Myself and yourself. The circular motion, okay? And then it's very similar. You have the plural yourselves, if there's multiple you, yes? Or if it's them, I could say they are looking at themselves. But one thing, imagine if I look in the mirror at you, and then you look in the mirror at me. Then what do we say? Well, we could say, we look at each other. Each other. I looking at you, and you're looking at me. We have each other, which is different. Hopefully that is a good explanation of a reflexive pronoun for you, okay? So, but basically, if you want a technical explanation, a reflexive pronoun is when the subject of the sentence and the object of the sentence are the same thing, okay? So, I'm looking at myself. Subject, object, the same. Or you are looking at yourself. Subject, object, the same. Okay? Okay. So, wow, we have some students from Africa, some students from Brazil. It's fantastic. I really love having all of you guys from all over the world watching this class. This morning I was talking to a student about how the world would be a better place if there was no borders, no borders between countries. If the world was totally open and we could travel where we wanted and there was no patriotism, okay? This is my country and you are not from my country, and it would be good if we were one people, no? Humans, the human race, the human species together, okay? This is a utopia, no? And probably this will never exist. Wow. Okay, no problems. Okay, I'm just going to look here for some more questions. Okay. 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 Zachary Hussein is asking about the future continuous and the future perfect continuous. Ooh. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. So, future continuous. Future continuous. This is the important thing, okay? This is the key to understanding the future continuous, okay? So what is the continuous? So let's think about present continuous. Present continuous is to talk about something that's happening now, okay? We are learning English. I am wearing a jacket, okay? It's things that are happening now because it's continuous. We are describing a moment. This is important, describing a moment. What about past continuous? In the past. Past continuous is when we talk about a moment, but in the past. Like, I was walking down the street and I saw my friend. So I'm thinking about the action, the moment of walking. I'm talking about a moment. And future continuous is the same, okay? When I use the continuous tense in English, I'm talking about moments of time, okay? So when I use future continuous, I'm visualizing a moment in the future. So let's practice, okay? So what will you be doing at 2 o'clock tomorrow? Okay, so 2 o'clock tomorrow. Now, 2 o'clock is a specific time. So I can imagine myself at 2 o'clock doing something in this moment at 2 o'clock. Maybe I will be eating. Okay. So you can see the construction. We have the modal will, the auxiliary will to indicate the future. And then we have this to indicate continuous, and the verb in ing to indicate the continuous. Okay? I will be eating. The construction is very simple. Okay? The only conjugation is this. It's always will be. So maybe at 2 o'clock tomorrow you will be studying English, or you will be driving your car. So the continuous is the moment, okay? But what about the future perfect? The perfect tense in English is to describe an action in relation to another action. Okay? We are making relationships when we use the perfect tense. The continuous tense talks about a moment, but the perfect tense talks about an action related to another action. So, for example, at 2 o'clock tomorrow, at 2 o'clock tomorrow, you could say, I will be studying English. Okay, continuous. So, well, my writing is very bad, I'm sorry. So here you can see we are using the continuous to talk about the moment at 2 o'clock. But now, if we want to use the perfect tense, we need to create a relation between another action. So, what did you do, or no, did you do no, what will you do at 3 o'clock? Oh, okay. At 3 o'clock, I will be watching television. Okay. At 3 o'clock, I will be watching TV. So again, we are using the continuous to talk about the moment at 3 o'clock. But now, let's use the perfect tense to relate these two actions. So we're going to say, at 2 o'clock tomorrow, I will be studying English. And then we're going to eliminate this, and we're going to use the perfect tense to create the relationship. Okay? I will have watched television. So now I'm saying that after, no, oh no. What I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I made a little mistake with the times. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a bit slow today, but I'm saying that before I studied English, I watched television, not after, okay? Sorry. I will be studying English. I will have watched TV. Okay? Now the relationship is clear. Is that this action here in the perfect tense is before this action, not after. Okay, my mistake. Not at 3 o'clock, but at 12 o'clock. Okay? This action in the perfect is before. This is the relationship. Okay? Hopefully that helps to answer your question. Please tell me if you would like me to explain some more about that. Okay. ICAM has asked a question, what is the difference between exceed and overcome? Okay. So these are two very interesting words, I think. Exceed and overcome. Okay? So, but the meaning is very different. Okay? So exceed normally is when we talk about your expectations. Okay? What you are expecting in the future, what you want in the future. So imagine that you want to save 100 euros. Okay? You want to save 100 euros. This is your expectation. But at the end of the month, you have 150 euros. Okay? You have exceeded your expectations, exceeded your goal. Exceed is when we have an expectation, a level, something we want, and then we exceed this level. Overcome is different. Overcome is used to talk about something difficult, problems, things which are difficult to do. Okay, so overcome, you can think it's more like a mountain. Okay, so here you are continuing your life. Your life is good, but then you have a difficulty, a problem. Okay? And the problem is like a big mountain. Okay? An obstacle that you have to overcome. I mean, look at the word. Over. We have to go over the problem, over the difficulty, over the mountain. And then here, you can say, I overcame my problems. And here you can say, I will overcome. Hopefully that helps to answer your question. Please tell me if you would like me to explain more. Somebody has asked the question, what does SVOPT mean in English? SVOPT. I have never seen this in my life. I have no idea what it means. I hope that it's not a bad word. I'm sorry, but I will look I will look online to find out what this means. But I have no idea. I have never seen this before. I'm sorry. Okay. So, Diep, Dieppe has a question, a pronunciation question. And I think that this is actually a very important question about English pronunciation in general. Okay. And he's asking, what is the difference in pronunciation between foot and food? Okay. So maybe this is not the best example because here we have the sound oo and here we have the sound oo. Foot, food. But what's really important is the sound at the end. Because if you want to avoid problems with communication in English, okay, if you want to make sure that everybody can understand you, okay, when you travel and speak English, it's very important to make the difference between a T and a D. So what is the difference between the two? Okay, let's look at a word that has the same vowel sound. Okay, so for example, this one here. Okay, hat and had. The same sound. The only difference is the end. Okay. Now, if you watched my video about Anglo-Saxon pronunciation, then some of this will be familiar to you, okay? But the difference between this and this is one thing, and that is the voice, okay? Hat is unvoiced, and had is voiced. Here, the T, we only have air. Okay? Just air. Just let the air relax. It's similar to if you have a ball and you puncture the ball, you stick something in the ball goes. Okay? It's just air. But this here, we have to activate the voice. The easiest way to activate the voice, to practice, is with meditation. Buddhist meditation, like this. Like yoga. Can you hear the sound? Okay? It's like I'm meditating. Now, this is not a consonant or a vowel. This is nothing. This is air passing my vocal cords. I can do it with my mouth open. Okay? The most important thing is activating the voice. Okay? So here, the mouth position is the same. There is no difference in mouth position, in physical position between T and D. The only difference is voice. Okay, so t, 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 t. Now voice. D, 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 t, 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 d, 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 t, 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 d, 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 d. I know that this sounds very strange, and I know that maybe if you are practicing right now in your house or in your office, you feel like an idiot. You feel a bit stupid. Okay, but this is something which is really important for communication. Other aspects of English pronunciation are not very important, but this is really important because a lot of vocabulary depends on this. And also, we need to produce the d, the strong d, to make the past tense in English. Okay? So, how can we practice? What's the best way to practice? Okay. Okay, for example, So here are 5 words, okay? 5 words in English. And they all have this sound. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to only activate the voice. We're not going to pronounce anything. Only activate the voice like this. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let's do it again. Mm, mm. You can do it with the mouth open or mouth closed. Mm, ah, ah, ooh, ee. Okay, I'm just practicing turning my voice on and off, okay? And now we're going to pronounce the D, okay? Only the D, the strong D. D, 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 D. Okay, and remember, don't hold it in, okay? Release the sound. Okay, I want to see the release, okay? Don't release, relax, explode with the sound, okay? D, 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 D. Okay, I'm activating the voice. Okay, one more time. Okay, so remember, meditation, and the strong D. Okay, and think the same position as the T. Okay, D, 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 D. And now you really feel stupid. Okay, now we're going to do all of the words together. Okay. Gad, cad, sad, had, mad. Okay? Now, if you can do this, okay, if you can produce this strong sound, then your English pronunciation will be a lot better. So, I hope that was interesting for you. And this is the best way to practice this producing the sound, okay? And for some of you, it will not be easy. For some of you, it will take weeks and weeks and weeks of practice only to make this sound. But when you do produce this sound, it will be incredible. And you will sound amazing. Okay. Okay, I'm looking now for some more questions. Bilal was asking about what is the meaning of the word Esky. Okay. Esky, okay. An esky is a box, an insulated box to put food or drinks in. And this is very common in Australia, okay? In England, they call it a coolie box because it's a box that's very cold, okay? But why is it called an esky? Well, actually, Esky is a trademark. It's a name of a brand, okay? TM. But why Esky? Because the box is very cold and you put lots of ice in the box, which is very similar to living in the North Pole, like an Eskimo. So the reason that it's called an Esky is because it's very cold, like an Eskimo. That's the only reason. Okay. So let me just have a look. Okay. Because we only have a little bit of time left, and so I'm looking for something interesting to talk about that's very fast. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for something interesting. So your comments. I love reading your comments. I'm sorry that I don't have time to talk more about your comments, but it's just very, well, it's only 1 hour, okay? Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that is not related to English, but is related to English to finish the class, okay? Because at the moment I am trying to learn Arabic, okay? It's very difficult for me. I'm at the moment only learning about the alphabet, okay? But one interesting question is, in English, and also probably in your language, when we do mathematics, or when we have a problem, sometimes we use the letter X, for example. For example, this, 2x equals y. But the question is, why do we use the letter X? Why does X represent, I don't know. Why is X I don't know? And the reason is actually because of the Arabic language, okay? So, I don't know if you know, but basically the Arabs were fantastic at mathematics. They basically they described and studied mathematics. They were the first society to study and describe mathematics, okay? And in Arabic, there is a word which means something. And the word something in Arabic starts with the sound sh. Okay? I can't remember exactly what the word is in Arabic. It's something like sha, shawai, shawi, shawi. I don't remember, okay? But it starts with the sound sh. Now, this sound didn't exist in some languages. The sh. For example, the sh sound doesn't exist in Spanish. So when the Arabs came to Spain with their mathematical discoveries, the Spanish wanted to translate these discoveries into Spanish. But there was a problem because there was no sh. So how could they translate these Arabic texts? Well, they decided to take the Greek letter chi, which looks something like this, okay? It basically looks like an X. So they used the Greek letter chi to represent the sound sh. And then, of course, in English, and probably in your language, it was substituted for the Latin X. So because of Arabic and because of Spanish, this is the reason why we have X to represent something that we don't know. So I hope that you found that interesting. I'm sorry, but there's no more time. I have to go. But if you found the class interesting, if you think that I am a good teacher, then please vote for me below. Thank you very much for all your questions. I really appreciate having all of you in this class. Don't forget that all of you, are the reason why I come to work every day. So thank you very much for watching. This is Canguro English. I'm Christian, and I'll see you in class. Bye.
time to go.